All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Josh Ficini. I am one of the TDs for the 2026 Cowtown Throwdown, supported by Innova Disc Golf. The other TD is Nathan Weaver. And this is our virtual players meeting for the tournament this weekend, March 7th, Saturday, at Prado Regional Park. I just want to go over some stuff with you guys, make sure everybody's on the same page, and answer any questions that some people have brought to my attention, make sure everybody's clear. So first off, I want to say thank you to everybody joining us this weekend. We do have a full field, 90 players on 18 holes. So we are maxed out. We do have a couple on the wait list. Um, yeah, it's going to be a really busy day at disc golf, which is great. Weather's looking nice. Um, yeah, everything should be about as good as you asked for it. Let's see. So to start off, this is a PDGA sanctioned C tier tournament. We are doing two rounds in one day. We're doing one round at 18 in the morning, followed by lunch break, and then one round at 18 afterwards. Shotgun start. I will have the starting holes posted probably Friday afternoon, Friday evening on the PDGA page. Um, in order to see your starting holes, you look at the PDGA page, or if you have the PDGA Live app, when you check in, it'll tell you your starting hole there. If you have any questions, you can always ask myself, Nate, or one of our other tournament staff. We can all help you find that. Let's see. So let's go over some basic things. This is part of the SoCal series. So if you're a current SoCal Disc Golf Club member, you will get points for how well you place in this series. Um, Amateur players. So we switched this up from being a true amateur event to being a amateur event where you do get one player pack disc, and then we are doing script payout to DT World afterwards. But just to give you guys an idea of what the discs look like, grab one of them out of the box right now. So this is just one of them. We have Halo Champion Roadrunners and Halo Champion Firebirds, and then Champion Proto Glow Foxes for your player pack disc. So each amateur player will get one disc that you select there. We have various weights. I know some people like throwing lighter weights, everything in between. Pro players, you guys don't get a disc. You check in. You guys are good, and we'll go from there. Um, for check in, everybody does need to check in. So none of this like, oh, my buddy's pulling up right now. Oh, my buddy's going to go to starting hole, but he's here. No, they have to check in at Tournament Central with our check-in, I guess check-in person, and they're going to confirm that they are in the system, that they're there. So you can't check your buddy in for you. They have to come check in with us. Um, Once you do that, before we go out to our starting holes, we'll do a quick meeting, make sure everybody's good. The schedules I'll post on Disc Golf Scene page, and then we'll get everybody sent out. Let's see. So starting out, um, the gates of the park open at 7:30. Nate sent down an email, and I think he posted on the Disc Golf Scene page as well about them opening up the side gate for us to use. So if you want to go to the side gate, go ahead. If you want to go to the main gate, that's fine too. Which usually the main gate has everybody else trying to get in the park early. Usually a lot of the fishermen. So there's usually a line. The side gate usually doesn't have much of a line to it. It's because just us. But if you do go through the side gate, it is cash only or season pass holders. They do not do cards. It is $15 per card to get in now. Um, but if it gets you in faster, then maybe the better way to do it. If you have questions about where the gate is, hit up me or Nate, and we'll happy to give you those directions. Even though I'm pretty sure Nate sent them out to everybody and posted them. Let's see. So with the course, we do have the course reserved. I think I sent this out in the email. Past couple times we've been there, we've been really good about um letting fishermen know, and they kind of know now, like when we have an event, like that side's closed. The park does a good job at letting them know at the gate, hey, the side of the lake's closed. You guys can go to the other side. Every once in a while we have a couple that either A say they weren't told that, man, or they just don't want to listen. They feel entitled to it. Here's the deal, guys. If you see somebody out there, like you're warming up, whatever, and you see someone stuff to fish, just let them know courteously, hey guys, let you know this side is closed. We do have a tournament here today, and you can tell them we have the permit for it. That's like the key word. Most of them are pretty good about picking up and moving somewhere else. If they don't, like give me or Nate a call or come grab one of the Rangers. But first grab me or Nate first, and we'll come down and tell them, hey, you guys got to move because we do have the area rented out legally. Um, rental areas everywhere within that's considered part of the course, and even if an area seems like it may not be in play, like oh, how, it may how's the plays going to affect here? If I'm doesn't matter. Um, Safety reason, we don't want anybody on the course that's not part of the tournament. I don't want to risk people hanging out there, bringing their little kids. Little kid goes running out in the middle of the fairway while we're throwing, and it's always disastrous. So, real short, if you're not playing the tournament, you can't be on the side of the course. Again, we're ambassadors to there. We have a great course we get to play. Just if be nice about it. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, just come call me or Nate, and we'll come over and take care of it very quickly. Let's see. So then that kind of hits all the starting stuff. Lunch. So when you guys registered, you did make your lunch selection. We had our tradition always been doing hot dogs at lunch for you guys, 2 hot dogs per player. Some players opted for the veggie burger option. I got that there. Um, so we'll have lunch ready and start going when you guys are finishing up your first round. When you do that, just come by. We'll check your name off, and we'll get you your lunch. Um, we'll have hot dogs with bacon or without bacon. You guys can thank Jake Avila for recommending we do bacon wrapped hot dogs. After the first year, we kind of kept it going. So we put that in there. And then the people with veggie burgers, we'll have yours set aside as well. Then we'll have some other stuff too on there. We'll have like some fruit and chips and like some dessert stuff and everything. And then we'll have some waters and some hydration powders, stuff that you guys can use. You can use that throughout the tournament as well. Um, and along with like some other drinks and stuff too for you guys to enjoy. Maybe like during lunch and after the round and such, basically all the foods for you guys to enjoy. So, um, we think providing lunch is a privilege for players. A lot of places don't do it, but we know there's not a lot of stuff around there. Maybe you have a good parking spot, you want to give it up. So some we decide to do. If you decide that if you either opted out of the lunch option, no hard feelings. I understand. There are some lunch options around. There's like a Farmer Boys and a gas station about a mile and a half up Euclid, and then down Pine there's State of Brothers Shopping Center about 2.5 miles down the road that has a few food options. Just be aware that if you do leave the park, you're responsible for being back on time. I'm gonna basically post updates to that PDGA Live app. So if you don't have that, I suggest downloading it so you can catch all the updates as we send them out. And with that, I think that covers a lot of the initial questions. Just going through my list real quick. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I think we're going that kind of stuff. Let's go into the actual course itself. So I did send out an updated course book. Nothing changed on the hole designs. There's just some wording on some of the stuff that I had to adjust. I haven't gotten too many questions about the caddy book. I'm hoping some of you guys got to go out and practice some of the holes. Um, let's break into it. So just to go over some of the stuff, this is just right from the caddy book. Uh, Being a PDGA event, all current PDGA rules are in effect, so make sure you are aware of those. Things like the new time updates. Now you have 45 seconds to make a throw from the fairway instead of 30. 30 seconds only applies to your tee shot drop zone or within 66 feet circle two. Just something that make sure you're aware. Every player has to keep score. So we prefer everybody to do digital scoring using the PDGA Live app, or you can go to pdga.com/score. There's plenty of reception out there. It's not like being up in the mountains. So no problem with access to internet. The access code, I sent them the caddy sheet. It's just Cow26. If you don't have the digital score at this point, we do have paper scorecards. I put directions on to take care of that. Just come see Nate for those. He'll be our scorecard person. Let's see. So just some standard stuff. All parking lots are OB. All the paved roads and beyond are OB. The lake's obviously OB. Um, Basically, if you're not on grass, you're out of bounds. There is no hazards in play. So some people ask about the picnic rings there, where it's like concrete ring and then there's like a dirt in the center. They're like, oh, this plays hazard OB. No, those just play as normal. Don't worry about those. Um, any kind of fence lines or anything like that are also OB, but they're pretty. A lot of fences are coming down now, so the only thing to worry about is the actual boundary fence. But we're pretty much playing inside the boundary now, so there's not so much of an issue except on holes, um, like the holes near like the entrance. So I don't know the terminal holes off the top of my head. Like terminal hole 6 and like 4, I think, where you're throwing towards the fence line. You could go over into the park into the road, and that's OB. There's rules on each hole. From each out of bounds, you do get a standard 1 meter. I am allowing a 2 meter relief from the lake. Just because the like you can be out of bounds and you can bring your 1 meter in, and you're actually pretty much on a pretty steep incline there on the bank of the lake. And I don't want anybody like falling in that lake if you don't have to go in because it's nasty and stuff. So you can get up to 2 meters away from the lake, because once you're 2 meters away, you're pretty much on solid footing. So 2 meters from the lake only, everything else is 1 meter. If you do lose a disc, um, keep your search to 3 minutes max, just to keep the pace of play going. You have time to look after lunch and after the event. Um, and this is going to get asked. There is no 2 meter rule. So park's pretty open. So if you get stuck up in the trees, those are pretty high shots. So to kind of give some clarification on the lake, the you have the bank that's like the solid part that's connected to the park grass. You can tell it's all one piece, and you have the water, and sometimes you have vegetation growing out of the lake. And what we're determining the OB to be is basically that solid ground on the bank. So if your disc is resting on or over that solid ground at all, you're fine. But if you're in the reeds or the lake vegetation, right, the disc may not be out, may not be touching the water, but it can be completely surrounded by water. That if you were to take those reeds away, it would be in the water, and that is out of bounds. Okay, because and you're not gonna be able to get in there and make a safe footing without going in the water anyway. So make sure you understand the difference of that. Doesn't happen too often, but sometimes that comes up. Um, let's see. I put something about playoffs. You can read that if we have to come to it. Um, if you're not sure how to play something, if it's not clear, um, you can always do a provisional for that and come talk to us later. We'll figure it out. So, with that, the course itself. So, Prado is still finishing up their construction. So, what is normally hole 1 is down by the closed parking lot, and where we've been setting up and wherever he starts off is actually in the secondary parking lot over by the original course hole 13, I believe. So we have what Nate and I do is we have the tournament hole numbers, and that's what we're going off of. So the normal course, how it's numbered and everything, whatever they've done, whatever the T signs say at Prado, those are all irrelevant. Okay, those don't matter. You go off based off the T signs that Nate and I put out for the tournament. And I posted a picture of these signs um on this golf scene page for you guys to look at. Um we have these all black signs that have the hole 1, it says hole 1 and kind of like a sunset or hole 2, whatever it is, and it has our logo, the Roller Race Promotions. We have a SoCal Disco Club logo, and then with the Innova logo. Then we have the tribute. that our T sign sponsor, James Bandy, asked us to put on each of the signs. So you're looking for that T sign for your starting hole, not the normal course um, product course holes. So by Tournament Central, right? That's where like hole one's gonna be by Tournament Central. Hole one is a temporary hole, so that you have to look for a tournament T sign for that. So we're gonna get into that. So hole one, it's basically it's I did Portuguese Coast map. The hole one is a temporary hole. Usually the old tee pads kind of play backwards. We played this hole a couple times and we've had a lot of fun with it, so we're gonna keep it going. Um, but just make sure you know where that is. Hole two, tournament hole two is pretty much standard. One standard holes, mandatory right. Whenever you go, I'll talk about the mandatories and drop zones later. Um, hole three is standard throw, nothing special. Same with hole four. Hole five, when I measured it, it's about 250 feet to the basket. It's going to be an island hole. Probably going to put the island about maybe 200 feet ish to reach the island. Uh, I have to map it out still, but the um, the island is not it plays as a hazard. So if you throw to the island, which is going to be marked out with string as the boundary line, and there's going to be flags around it, so you have a visual marker to throw to. Uh, that line, that the string line is the official boundary, right? So you have to be over that string line, touching past string line to be safe. If you're safe on the island, you play as normal. If you don't come to rest safe on the island, you still play where it lies, but you take a one stroke penalty. This is called the hazard rule, so all the areas around it are hazard. Um, it's just basically you just continue playing, you have a one stroke penalty for not making it. So that one gets kind of tricky for players who haven't played the hazard rule before. Um, hole six. The hole six is my one of my little creations I decided to try. We did something similar for this one for the Discoverfest a couple years ago, so I wanted to try it again. Hole six is a par four. The tee box is next to the bathroom. They're using the sidewalk, but then you have to throw out, and at the corner of where the parking lot is and the access road that leads into the parking lot normally, there's going to be a mandatory right. And basically, you have to throw to the right of that. So you can't just throw over the parking lot and try to park the basket. You actually do have to go out and around. It requires two controlled shots to get the birdie. If you're aggressive, you can try to throw something big and skip around it and get onto the other side. Knock yourself out. I'm not gonna tell you guys how to play a hole. Um, the Mando is gonna be some kind of a pole that I'm gonna put in place. We're also gonna have a sign out there, and I paint all the Mandos with the planes and everything, so you can see. But there's gonna be some kind of pole there. Last time we used one of the feather banners to show where the Mando was, and that seemed to work well. I was hoping to have like a flagpole for this time, but I have to make sure we didn't throw it out. But there will be a marker that we put out there that says, "Hey, here's the mandatory." Okay. Let's see. Seven straightforward. Eight is I had a double mando in there, but we've played it like that before. So players that have played this before, they know that. Nine turn. A lot of these play pretty straightforward. Okay. So the next one is that gets kind of tricky to play is hole 13. This is the one that runs right along the lake. So if you know the normal course, it's hole seven, but tournament it's hole 13. The basket is near the water's edge, and um, the way that this is written is that if your tee shot, so your first shot only, if you throw it and come the rest in the lake, you can either A, go from where it was last in bounds, that is your right as a player, you can always take the last shot in bounds, or you could go to the optional drop zone with a one stroke penalty. Right, the optional drop zone I put on there is about 105 feet away. Essentially, what this is that if you throw a tee shot and say you hit the tree, you hit one of the trees right next to the bank and it just drops right in the lake. Um, you can go from his last in bounds, which is like really close to the tee pad, or you can re-tee, or you can go up to the drop zone. that's more beneficial to you. But say you throw a shot, you go for it, trying to cross the lake, and say you hit the bank and it bounces off and rolls back in the water. Well, I'm not going to make you go back to the drop zone 105 feet away when you've already hit safely in bounds by the basket and you're basically have a tapped in par. So that's how that one's written. Basically, if it's more beneficial for you to be in bounds further up, you take that. If you feel like it's more beneficial, the drop zone is optional. Off the tee shot only though. For your second shot, third shot, any of those, you go for your last in bounds. Okay. I hope that whole kind of play makes sense. Um, so if you have questions about the one, let me know. Let's see. Next one is tournament hole 14. This is the little one that you show from the top, kind of down towards the lake. Um, we don't have standard spotters out there to sit out there all day for this event. So if you have somebody in your group that can spot, or what we usually do is like whoever's throwing fifth on the card usually goes over there and watches for a couple holes while everybody else, a couple throws everybody else throws, and then they come back and somebody else goes over there and watches. And that way, you have somebody watching the disc to kind of see where they go in case anybody does roll into the lake. You can get eyes on it and say, "Hey, this is where it rolled out," so you don't have a lost disc situation and trying to find it. And it's like, did it go out or did it not? You know where it went out. So that's what I recommend. The one issue I had with this hole in one of the tournaments is there was a disc that was rolling and it was going to the water, and somebody decided that they were going to stop it before it went in the water. Um, it sucks to lose discs, guys. I understand. I don't know how many discs I have in Prado Lake right now and other lakes around, but please don't do that. Okay. If a disc rolling, you have to let it roll out. You have to let it go where it's going to go and come to rest on its own. And unfortunately, it rolls into the lake. It rolls into the lake. Um, if you do stop the disc yourself as a player, you can actually get penalized for it. We had this happen in one of our tournaments here, and it's like it can affect the outcome, especially if a player is they're close neck and neck and they would roll into the lake, taking a penalty, and so you stop it, and now they don't take that penalty. So please don't do that. Let the disc roll naturally. It sucks, but that's part of the game. Um, let's see. Last one's pretty straightforward. Um, Tournament hole 17. So this is regular course hole 11. The only thing I've added that is a mandatory left the mark tree. The basket's in the far position. So some guys like to throw these big wide shots or something like that, but there's no like it's just hard to do when there's people playing up 12. And we always like to throw some new stuff on there. So this time we decided, hey, let's throw a Mando on there and just see how it plays. So we'll see how it plays out. Um, we'll go from there. Let's see. So with that, just to talk about the mandatories. Yeah, so the mandatories will all be marked. We have signs that tell you which the mandatories are. Um, we also usually mark the trees with caution tape. I just have to make sure I have the same amount. And then what we also do is we mark the mandatory plane on the outside. All right, usually in paint or I'll use a line of string, but there's some kind of visual markers tell you, hey, here is the plane that is if broken, then you miss the mandatory. So remember, anytime that Mando plane is broken, whether you throw right through it or you throw and roll back through it, if you break that mandatory plane, you have to go to the drop zone. Not my rule. PDJ ruling on it. We got to just roll with it. The drop zones will all be marked with flags. I have to see what color flag I've left, but they're all marked with flags that I'm going to put near the um, mandatories. So if it's a single mandatory, it'll be right next to it, within probably about 15, 20 feet. If it's a double mandatory, I'm going to put it in between the two mandatories. So whatever mandatory you're used to playing at Prado, I know some of them like have a double mandatory, but the drop zone is like over by one of the mandatories and stuff. That to me doesn't make sense. It's going to be in the middle. It's a double. Um, if it's a mandatory that we think it's going to be pretty hard to see, from afar or maybe kind of obscure, like the one on hole like tournament hole 13 where you throw to the lake and if you it's optional, we actually have a sign out there that says drop zone. So you'll be able to see, oh, that's the drop zone I go to, if it's not obvious. But if they're right next to the mandatories, it should be pretty obvious of where the drop zone is. If the grass isn't too wet, I'll even paint on there, DZ, so you guys knows where it is. Okay. Um, so we got, let's see, got mandatories, we got drop zones. Um, I think that just about covers everything. Uh, yeah. After we finish up the round, everybody submits their scores. Basically we'll calculate everything, and we will do trophies for the top finishers. Nate did the trophy calculation. Um, this isn't a true amateur event for amateur players, so we don't have to follow the full trophy thing of like you need one trophy for this many. But I know Nate and I like to, we like to say thanks for coming out, so we like to put together some cool trophy stuff for you guys. So I know Nate's working on those, and we will have some trophies to give out with that. But at least everybody from first place will get a trophy. I think we have some second, third place to give away as well. So yeah, and Nate does some amazing trophies over there with his stuff. So with that, we want to say, to kind of sum it up, we want to say thank you to everybody. We want to thank our sponsors. So to give you guys an idea, this is our first event of this year, first sanction event. We ran the ice bowl a couple weeks ago at Prado. Um, but Nate and I started our own little venture together. We merged our two disc golf promotion stuff that we were running into our new roller race promotions. That we are running events all year long. Um, and we're just kind of seeing where that goes. But we already off to a pretty good start. So we got besides our own stuff we're working off, we got to thank Innova Disc Golf. I mean, Innova's been supporting. Uh, shoot, I don't know. I've worked with Innova for a while, but I've been there, and if you go to the factory store, you see Nate there. So it's kind of, we have a pretty good relationship with them, I would think, and they've always taken care of us and allow us to have some pretty cool stuff to pass on to you guys that I think the players appreciate what we're able to get with them. So thank you to Innova for always taking care of us and allowing us to take care of the players. We said we had a T-side sponsor this year, so we want to say thank you to James Bandy, his company, Bandy Bodyworks. James offered to be our T-sign sponsor for this year. So a chair moving, a cat all sitting over there. But James offered to be our T-sign sponsor this year, and we graciously accepted. So he put forward the design for the T pads. It's kind of like a memorial that's on there. Last year was hard for us in the disc golf community, and past several years we've lost a lot of good people. And so what James put on there, I think, is um a good memorial to not just to Carlos, but to all everybody, and kind of reason why we all get to do this. So thank you to James for doing that. And then the last one is Nate with his Nate started his own venture with his Cosmic Full trophies and awards. So he makes all of our trophies in house. Does all the designing, does everything like that, which is really cool because we need trophies on demand. We can make them, and they're really high quality. We do a lot of our slate stuff. So thank you, Nate, with the Cosmic Full stuff for making sure we're taken care of. Um, guys, and just kind of top it all off, we want to thank Prado Regional Park and the park rangers and staff there. They work with us and allows like open a side gate, give us access to certain areas so we can set up easier. One thing they asked this time is when we're all kind of congregating, the poor ranger said, "Please don't stand in the road because she's having a heart attack when we do it." So make sure we're all out of the road. They actually allocate some space to the side for us this time, so we can kind of have our own area out there, which is very nice of them. We get to use their parking area for our stuff. So but thanks to them for allowing us to be there and taking care of us and helping us with like crowd control and make sure everybody's informed. So we do ask that we be respectful of them and make sure respectful of the park too. If you have trash, please pick it up. Don't leave the course dirty. Uh, we're guests to be there. We're also ambassadors. We want to send a good message to the rest of the community. Hey, this is how we treat this park. This is our home. So we're going to take care of it. Um, And once again, thank you to all you guys for joining us. I mean, we have a full house, and it's always great to see you know that people stand for disc golf. I know it's sometimes it's a tough year financially for a lot of people, and just looking at other events. But we want to say thank you for trusting us with our events and joining us. And that about covers it. So, is there anything you guys think of? Please shoot myself or Nate a message. Let me know. I will address it either on the disc golf scene page or I'll address it in our players meeting on Saturday morning. And with that, I look forward to seeing everybody. If you are going to be in town early and are camping, Nate and I will be camping in the Prado campground doing some course setup Friday. Feel free to swing over or let us know where you're at. Let us know where we're at. We can all hang out, do a little, you know, uh, pre-tournament, get together. And with that, I think it sums it up. So thank you all, and we will see you bright early Saturday morning.